Hi, FlossTube. Um, so I am a He-Man right now. Messy hair, no ball cap. I just got done doing something that y'all have asked for. Yes, that is right. I did a Stitch with Me. So I'm going to let the Stitch with Me catch you up on life events and let you know what's going on. Some of it good, some of it bad, but all of it life. And so have fun. Might. No guarantees, y'all. No guarantees. Okay. So, pardon my mess. If you can see the mess. I don't know that you really can. I look a little poochy, but that's fine. I am expecting a phone call at some point to go pick somebody up, so there may be a point where I have to bid you adieu. But, you know, it's whatever. Okay. So, I am working on Plus Ultra. I'm pretty sure you can't see the iPad. Or the fact that it just alerted me to the fact it's time to eat dinner, apparently. So, so you're gonna see me do this throughout, and for those of you who aren't used to this, I'm just literally untwisting my thread. Because it gets twisted as I sew, because I use the sewing method. So, Plus Ultra, originally his hair was red due to, like, shadowing and artistic license and all that fun hoopla, but, if they can take artistic license and make his hair green, or red, I can take artistic license and make his hair green. This is Midoriya from Plus Ultra, for anyone who has, you know, anime fans in their house. Great pattern. You can find it on Facebook from Crazy Like Things Patterns Facebook group. So, this whole, like, trying to talk and sew thing, it's not that it's difficult, it's just that I don't normally do it. The sound is recording on my phone, which is above my head if you haven't figured that out yet. On a lampshade, because I had to get creative. I have tried to zoom things in, and I'm kind of hoping that right now you can see this. I'm trying to keep it pointed towards the camera. However, like I said, my camera's above my head. So I'm not sure how well, even if it is picking up, how well you're going to be able to see. So, sorry, I'm doing my best with what I got. But, y'all wanted to Stitch with me. Y'all were like, yes, queen, we need the Stitch with me. So I'm giving you a Stitch with me. And it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Que sera, right? Whatever will be, will be. I think this is probably going to be a little bit more random than my regular FlossTube channels, y'all. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Some people may like it, some people may not. So, I will probably not talk a lot about my stitching. This will probably be more of like an update video with what's going on in my life. So, let's talk about me. Since I'm so good at that, I've officially switched to nights. And it's interesting. So, currently it is 6:33 p.m. This is my second night off. Yesterday, I was not very good at keeping with my schedule. And kind of like slept all day. Slept until, well, I say slept all day. I slept until about 1:30. I had to think real hard about that. And then I woke up and couldn't go back to sleep because the sun was awake, so I must be awake. And so I called a friend, and I went and hung out with her, and we chilled, and we watched RuPaul's Drag Race UK. which, if you're a Drag Race fan and you haven't seen UK, you're a loser and you should get with it. Because it's kind of awesome. I will say, I feel like they need an interpreter for. Because even though they're speaking English, it's British English. And British English is different than American English. And I know people are like rolling their eyes at me right now, but for real. Like, you don't know. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Sorry, had to count y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will say there was one. So recently, they did the Snatch Game, and the Snatch Game is like a game show knockoff. It's really kind of funny. But they impersonate famous people, and it's really kind of humorous. The impersonations, they have to answer these questions, and they're kind of like weird questions. Anyway, if you haven't seen Snatch Game, you need to see Snatch Game. But, so, one of them did, and this is a spoiler alert, so, and I'm not going to go put timestamps, so if you don't want to hear who the contestants were playing, you should fast forward now. I don't think it'll be very long, but, you know, fast forward like 20, maybe like a minute. So, one of the characters played Donald Trump. And what's funny about watching somebody from another country play Donald Trump is that this is another country's view on what Donald Trump looks and acts like. And the impersonation of Donald Trump was, oh my god, spot on. Like, the voice impersonation was perfect. Mannerisms were perfect. And if you're a Trump supporter, you're probably not going to agree with me. And that's perfectly fine. You don't have to. That's the joy of living in a free country such as this. We take things that aren't ours and can say whatever we want to. So, no, I'm not a Trump fan. And honestly, it's because if you listen to him talk, he sounds like a freaking moron. And people want to equate the fact that he has money to his level of intelligence, and the two are not one and the same. Just because you make uncouth business deals to line your pockets with green does not make you a decent human being or an intelligent human being. And so, that is that. That is how I feel. Oh, man. Yes, I'm a floss licker. Get over it. You lit liquor. There was this commercial. It was an Orbitz commercial. You cootie queen. Who are you calling a cootie queen, you lit liquor? It was real funny. I enjoyed it. Do it. Turn around every now and then I get a little when you never come around. So if y'all missed me, I know some of you are screaming yes. Some of you are screaming no. Some of you are just confused and wondering why you like this little gay man in this pumpkin orange shirt. It's okay. It's because I'm a unicorn. Oh, so I do have some gossip for y'all. And I know everybody is dying to know how my new relationship is going. Well, it's not. Collective gasp in the background. So, about that, he ghosted me. Oh, and I'm like, he has officially won the title of Kings of Ghosts. Because I've ghosted some people. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to act holier than thou. I have ghosted some people. I feel like I had my reasons. There are some people who are sitting there like, no reason is a good reason to not explain why you're not talking to somebody. Like, don't get their hopes up and then just leave them hanging. I get it. Okay? But once you hear my story, you will agree. Like, this is like the epitome of ghosting. So, we had gone on a date the night before. Sorry, I'm going to have to move around because I have to get some food. So, we had gone on a date the night before. Saturday evening. I dropped something. I don't know what it was. And we had made plans to go to church because he had told me that he wanted to go to my church. I'm like, okay, you can come to church with me. He's like, well, I want to go to Sunday school. Okay, Sunday school starts at 9:15. I'll see you then. So I wake up at 8 and I call him or send him a message because he had to do some homework. And so I'm like, hey, are we still on for Sunday school? I need to know if I need to get up now. No, I overslept. I'm not going to be able to make it. Okay, see you at 10:30. Okay. So, go back to sleep, wake up, shower, get ready for church, and make it to church, let him know, hey, I'm here. No response. Go ahead, and I'm like, I go to church and I pray. I have a little, I call it an Episcopal rosary. It's not as big as a Catholic rosary. Catholic rosary has more beads and more sets. They're just different, okay? Don't question me. They're just different. So, I like to pray before church. It helps get me in the Zen mode to, like, listen to the lesson and to, like, really receive and hear what I'm supposed to hear. For those of you who aren't religious, like, you don't have to understand. It doesn't involve you. So, anywho. So, one of the prayers I pray is, hey, God, let me know if this relationship's for me. Like, am I with the right dude? Because, I feel like I need to involve God in all aspects of my life. There are times I've prayed to him while I'm drunk, too. Because, he really does get to be involved in every part of my life. He helped create me. Like, he knows that I'm getting drunk. Might as well involve him. There are days that I wake up and I go, God, can we just do pillow talk today? And we just talk while I'm in bed. Okay, I don't necessarily have to go to church to talk to Jesus or God. So anyway, yes, you heard right. God and I do pillow talk. So anywho, this takes me back to when we pray, a lot of times we bitch about the returns on our prayer. Like, please God, help me win $1 million. Dear God, why didn't I win $1 million? Kind of deal, Please let me meet the man of my dreams. And a year later, you're like, I'm still waiting. Like, where is he? Kind of deal. God, this was the fastest return I've ever gotten on a prayer. God didn't even wait for the amen. He's like, nah, I'm going to show you. He is not the one for you today. Not today, Satan. Not today. So 10:30 rolls around and he's still not there. So I start sending him messages like, let me know you're okay. I work in a hospital. So, I'm thinking he got decapitated by an 18-wheeler on his way to church, or is like in a 20-car pileup, or is, all sorts of things. Didn't hear from him. So my aunt, who goes to the same church I do, was like, did he ever show up? And I'm like, nah, I'm kind of pissed off about it. So mind you, I'm now pissed off at church. And she's like, okay, well, have you tried calling him? And it's like, duh, I've tried calling him. It's the first thing I did. So it went to voicemail. It rang twice and went to voicemail. And it's like, okay, maybe he's busy. Maybe something's going on with his family. I don't know. So I sent him a message and told him, hey, I'm gonna call you in 15 minutes. And eventually I'm gonna have to start calling emergency rooms. So never hear from him. We decide that we're going to go to brunch, at our favorite restaurant, Snooze AM. If you haven't been there, it's phenomenal. And they do gluten-free pancakes, and they have vegan options too. So we went there, and I tried calling him again, and I tried sending him messages, and I made the comment about calling emergency rooms. No, I did not call emergency rooms. And I didn't call emergency rooms because, honestly, we're not married. I'm not a family. There's no reason for them to let me know whether or not he's there if he is injured. And, once again, this goes to working in the hospitals. I know how they work. So I didn't call emergency rooms. And my aunt's like, well, do you want to drive down to Galveston and see if he's okay? And I'm like, no. Clearly something is up. I don't know what it is, but clearly something is up. So then my aunt, later on that day, is like, well, maybe he's ghosting you. And I was like, no. Is that what's going on right now? Am I being ghosted? So then it put the thought in my head. And I'm like, okay. So the next morning I work, and it's my second to last shift on days. And so I have to be at work, and he lives about 5 blocks from where I work. Well, probably more than that, but in the same general area as where I work. So I decide I'm going to drive by his apartment because I know he doesn't leave for work until after I'm already on the island. And his car is there and in one piece. I'm like, okay, maybe something's just wrong with his phone. Maybe he'll call me once he gets to work and he has a working phone. So I go into work, and for security reasons, I'm not allowed to have my phone in the building. So I go about my day, and it's time for me to get off, and I go downstairs, get in my car, and turn on my phone. There is no voicemail on my phone at all. I'm like, well, fuck. Maybe he really is ghosting me. So I drive by his apartment, wanting to see if maybe his car's still there. Maybe he's sick. Maybe something really is going on. I'm really trying to give this motherfucker the benefit of the doubt. And I'm sorry, if you don't want cussing, you're probably going to need to turn it off now, because it's about to get real freaking colorful. I mean, real colorful. So I drive home, and at this point, I'm irritated. He's avoiding me. And I don't know why. So I get home, and my aunt's like, yeah, so your uncle saw him, and your uncle said he completely, avoided him. And it's like, okay, so I am being ghosted. Now I know. So I decide to test something. So I called him from my aunt's phone, and it rang multiple times. I called him from my phone, and it rang twice and went to voicemail. This motherfucker blocked my number. No explanation, no nothing. Now, mind you, when we first started talking, literally, first day we're talking, he's like, so I've been ghosted a lot, so please don't ghost me. Okay, I won't. My exact comment was, okay, if it comes to that point, we'll just have an adult conversation. We can do that. And he's like, agreed. Okay, where's my adult conversation? Like, I get it. I'm a freaking unicorn, and sometimes unicorns are hard to handle or a little much. But, like, tell me, sit me down and have a conversation. Hey, it's been really great getting to know you, but I don't think that this is going to work out for us. Okay, sucks to be you. Like, some people can only handle miniature ponies. I get it. I'm a unicorn. Not everybody can handle a unicorn. I've done a lot of work to make myself a healthy individual who can live in a relationship that's not codependent because I don't need a man to take care of me. I'm sorry, I don't. Like, and I guess that just bugs some people. But, you know, have the decency to have the conversation with them. And that's what irritates me. It's like, I told you I would be willing to have the conversation. And I was thinking about it. Like, we had some conversations, and at one point he made the joke, well, I think you're just too healthy for me. This is coming from a therapist who is working on his master's in... Now I have to remember what he's working on his master's in. His master's in social work, which deals with psychology. And he is a psychologist at a rehabilitation center. And there are lots in my area, so I don't know that you're going to, like, be able to find him. But anyway, so, you know, a social worker is sitting here telling me that I'm too healthy for him. Like, at first, it was kind of like, okay, like, is this a joke? Like, I am trying to figure it out. And I guess he was, like, kind of serious. I guess I really am too healthy for him. Because I require adult conversations. Adult conversations and adult manners. Like, and that's just weird for me. I'm not asking for anything impossible. I feel like, if anything, I'm asking for something that every human being deserves. And I know that at the beginning of this, I did say that I, had ghosted a couple of people. And, okay, so maybe I learned my lesson. Thank you. But anywho, so, no, I got ghosted. It's fine. Be okay. I just think that God has really created the perfect human being for me. He's good looking. He works in the medical field as a heart surgeon or a neurosurgeon. I'll take either. And is unique like me and has the ability to be independent and not rely on someone else to make decisions for them. Because I think that's what I want. I want a man who's completely self-sufficient and knows how to be himself. Can I get an amen? Amen! And honestly, like, I was a hell of a lot angrier at the beginning of all of this. Like, motherfucker, I know where you live. I know where you work. Though I don't want to catch a case, I don't mind making a scene. Like, I deserve a conversation. Deserve a conversation because I'm an awesome human being who's doing amazing work on myself. Like, I go running, I eat healthy. I really try and, like, balance myself emotionally. Like, doing a lot of freaking work. What about me was wrong? I deserve to know. Maybe I need to work on that too. Now, some of you are like, well, Didn't you say you cross-stitching gloves? Typically, yes, I do. Today I didn't feel like it. And honestly, my hands haven't been super sweaty. Predominantly because I've been using an insane amount of alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Which, if you know anything about alcohol-based hand sanitizer, it dries your hands out. Like, majorly. Okay. So, that one. That one. So, the next 3 rows, I'll skip 3 in the middle. Okay. So, I'm working on his hair. And his hair is 2 colors. Green, because that's what I changed it to be. And yes, I worked on matching his hair color to the anime. And black for the shadow, which you can see right there. And I know that they say Anchor gets better coverage. I'm really hoping that when I go to watch this, it fluffs up. Because right now, all this white that I'm seeing is really kind of irritating. But anywho. So, I use the sewing method on this project. I do not use the sewing method on my Teresa Winsler. Because Teresa Winsler goes in hoop. And Teresa Winsler is a lot of confetti stitching. If I could turn back time. It was funny. So my aunt has been like witness to everything because I live with her. And so she's met him in the whole 9 yards. And she really kind of liked him. Not so much after he ghosted me and she realized what that was. But, you know, was just kind of there for everything. And so she watched me go through the breakup process. And she's like, I'm so proud of you. And it's like, why? I'm a mess. And she's like, well, I mean, you're not as messy as you could be. Like, you're processing everything. It's like, well, yeah, shit. I need to process it. It's emotion. Like, people seem to think that emotion is a bad thing. Emotion isn't bad. It is your psychological way of dealing with what is going on to you. Or what is going on with you, or around you, or about you. You have to process it. And processing events can sometimes be difficult. And a lot more than people want to deal with. And I will never say that it is a bad thing to feel emotions. Like, if you're angry, be angry. Be angry in a healthy manner. Don't hit people. Don't break things. Well, okay, I take that back. If you want to go to Goodwill and buy a shit ton of plates for $1 and go and throw them at a wall that's not hurting anything, that's fine. Don't go key somebody's car. Okay? So, you know, I deal with a lot of my emotions through music. I'm a musically gifted individual. I like to sing. I like to play music. However, this round, I just listen to music. And so I listen to Sara Bareilles because she's awesome. If you don't know who that is, you should look her up. Sara Bareilles is A Girl Who Used to Be Mine. And that song is actually a letter that she wrote to herself. And it's kind of about learning who you are and growing. And I really have spent a lot of time working on developing healthy boundaries with loved ones, with myself. And I really did try and stick to those boundaries when starting this relationship, because those boundaries are important. Those boundaries have gotten me to where I am, which I don't know if you realize this, but I'm a real adult who like has a real job now, and like health insurance and dental insurance and vision insurance, and I have like a retirement plan, and I've graduated with my Associates of Applied Life Science. So, I mean, I'm a pretty healthy freaking individual. Like, I'm going places, I'm doing things, and I'm doing it in a healthy manner. But what that means is I'm not willing to compromise. You floss liquor. Is what I think about every time I lick my floss. Anywho. Um, the monster has come. Where was I? Something about being a healthy individual. So, these boundaries are a big part of my life, and for the most part, I equate them to the fact that I'm a very healthy, happy individual. So, that word. Sorry, I think it's because I'm trying to focus here and have a conversation at the same time. Like, Michelle Bendy, I commend you on being able to do this. This stuff is hard. So you're just going to have to get over the ums. So, it's just been kind of sucky. You know, I felt like this was some sort of connection. I also feel like this was God going, okay, see, you're ready for a relationship. I told you were ready, and you didn't believe me. Really? Sorry, one of my threads, like, one thread came out while I was trying to do that, and the other one did not. It just said, screw it, and pulled it out. Whatever. Don't need you in my life anymore. You can just go away. Cut. It's not simple to say. Most days don't recognize me. These shoes and this apron, that place and its patrons. You took more than I gave up. Okay. It hurt. So this is my favorite bright orange shirt, and I actually stole it from somebody. Well, borrowed it and never returned it, so stole it. C'est la vie. This is going to suck. So today I finally did actually catch up on some of my favorite floss stickers. Two of them actually. And honestly, one of them I didn't get all the way caught up on. I don't. Actually, I didn't get all the way caught up on either one of them. I watched Erica D House first, and I finished one episode that I had started but not finished. So I finished that episode. And then I watched her most recent one, but I was 2 episodes behind. So I actually wound up skipping over one of them on accident, but that's because YouTube decided to autoplay. So whatever. So there was that. And then I caught up on Coffee Stitcher because I love his channel too. Not to say that there aren't quite a few other channels that I enjoy watching as well. I just didn't watch those. And I didn't want to spend all day watching YouTube videos because though it seems like a great day, in all honesty, like I feel like it would have been kind of a waste of a day. Like, so instead, I got up and I went for a run, and I only ran a mile today. Some people are congratulating me, saying that, they don't run at all. Other people are like, oh my god, that's not very far at all. Whatever. I ran, had fun, listened to music. I did start a new Apple Music trial. 3 months free, and then after that it's $9.99 a month. So $10 a month. I have a job. I feel like I could pay it. So, and okay, so my family has Amazon Prime, and I utilize Amazon Prime. So for all of you who are like sitting there, yes, somebody else pays for it, I just use it. And I mean, my whole family uses it. My aunt uses it to order stuff. My grandfather uses it to order stuff. I just use it for the free music and TV. And so what I've noticed here recently, I don't know if anybody else has noticed it too, it's like all of a sudden, there's less music on Amazon Prime because they want you to be an Amazon Prime Unlimited member, which is another $10 a month. And all of you are like, well, you're paying that for Apple Music anyway. I get that. But I was a Prime member who had unlimited everything, and now you're trying to add another package to the money my family already gives you. Like, I know it's not my money, but still, like, we pay for your Prime. Why is your Prime not good enough now? Like, why do I need to be unlimited? I already pay you. So, I tried Apple Music. I like it. It has a lot of music that I like and that wasn't on Amazon Prime, actually. So, right now I feel like it was a decent purchase. I'm sure at some point they may try and do the same thing that Amazon Prime is doing, and now you need iTunes Unlimited. Whatever. So, but it was fun on my run. I don't even know how long a Stitch with Me should be. Although, at some point, I am going to have to go eat dinner. Which I'm going to have to cook because I don't have any money right now. That's the only problem with, like, having a job and a paycheck is, like, all of a sudden people want money from you. And they're like, well, now you have a job. And you're like, I know, but I just got money. Can I keep some of it for a little bit? No, you can't. How dare you, you human being? What do you think you did? Worked so that you could be wealthy? No, you work so you can survive. Yes, queen. It's fine. I'm happy that I have money. I'm grateful for the job that I have. Like, it's just, now I feel like I don't necessarily have any more money than I had before. I don't know. I'm about to make more money because I'm getting paid more to work nights, and I get paid more to work weekends, and I'm working a whole bunch of weekends this week, or this month. My schedule was made for me, basically, so that they could fill in holes, and it has been fun, looking at my schedule and realizing that I am about to work a whole bunch of weekends. But that's alright, because I have things that I want to pay for, including an Omnic frame. No. Undo that. Sorry, I'm looking at my pattern, trying to figure out, like, my next step, because I have some blue I need to do, and it's literally the last blue I have on this page. And I could go ahead and do that and be done, but I have a red thread that's already started, and there's a little area in the 10 by 10 square that I'm working in that has red, so I could just do the red real quick and just get it out of the way. Could also, I have a black parked thread that I could also, let's do, newsflash. The chilling ambush left at least 9 family members dead, including a child shot in the back. Has violence in Mexico reached a breaking point? And that, people, is why I don't watch the news. It's just a whole bunch of depressing shit. Sorry to all my people who are like, we don't like cussing. I know, I don't like it either. I love it. In my mind, it's just a healthy way to express yourself. Like, it's words, people. It's words. There are a whole bunch of people who are like, yes, but it's unattractive words. True. But it also helps me to express myself in a way that people understand. Because the one thing I have learned is that people like to not listen. However, when you add the word fuck, shit, damn, and there are a couple others, all of a sudden people start taking you seriously and start listening to what you have to say because apparently you're angry enough to cuss. I had one person tell me that cussing made me sound like an unintelligent person. Um, Sorry you feel that way, but I disagree. An intelligent person uses the entirety of the vocabulary at their disposal, not just some of it. And uses the words in a way that is understandable and accurate. Oh, it's not too messy. Figured that was just gonna be a mess and a half. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Yeah, 4. See, then I'll go up 4. 1, 2. Yeah, so this talking stuff while you stitch is hard because eventually I feel like you run out of things to say. 2, 3. And you're trying to count. Wait. Four, and then up it over 1. No. Always surprises me when I do something different and then I realize I'm doing something different than I normally do, and I'm like, wait, did I just screw that all up? And what I mean by that is, so you saw me, you have been watching me do my sewing method and crossing my X's a certain way, and so here I am going a different way than I normally go, and often what that means is that I'll forget how I'm crossing my squares, my X's, and then apparently that's not going. Okay. Guess that's a permanent mark. So recently there was an iOS update that updated their iBooks, which is what I use which is where I put all of my patterns, all of them. So even my paper patterns, I do convert them to an image and I send them to my iPad. And the reason being is because The iPad is easier to carry around. I don't have a whole bunch of patterns just lying around, like, and I'm okay with that. Um, what that means is I normally, if I'm getting rid of a pattern, I give a pattern away. I don't sell it because that's copyright infringement. I'm sure, I don't know. I'm not well versed in copyright laws, although if you need information on that, Park Hopper Bart, who is also a floss tuber, who is a male who lives, I believe, in Florida, knows all sorts of copyright laws. So he says that he was he was going to do a video where he, like, talked about copyright laws. And honestly, I was on YouTube today and saw something that looked like he had done exactly that. So if you have questions about copyright, I think he's the person to go talk to. So, and copyrights are weird. Like, it has to do with original ideas and copying them, but as far as I know, don't things have to be, like, patented in order for copyright law to be, like, in effect? Because I know music, I worked in a bar and we used to have live bands that would come and play, and we were, the bar doesn't exist, so I don't feel guilty telling you we didn't. You're supposed to pay for the royalties to be able to, like, have that music played in your bar. It's weird. It really does get kind of confusing after a while. But anyway, so we didn't, and that's fine. We never got, like, dinged for it or anything like that, but uh, those, like, the rights to that music is owned. Like, Elvis Presley songs are owned by certain people. Like, the rights to the Beatles songs are owned by certain people. So anytime that those songs are played by somebody other than the person who owns the rights to that music, they get, like, royalties for it. It's a very confusing thing. But when it's dealing with art, I think it gets a little bit more complex than that. Or at least that's what I'm led to believe. No long. I'm apparently having problems talking. I have no long idea. I have no long. I have no idea how long this video is. I think it's close to an hour. I still want to stitch, though. So it's real funny because I'm sitting here and I didn't change the symbol for the hair. I just know where the hair is. So anything that's on, like, one side of this black line that goes all the way around his head, if the symbol's on the inside of this black line, it's one color. If it's on the outside, it's another color. So, cool. Do I want to do black? Do I want to work with the red that's in here? This is the part that, like, gets hard. Everybody's probably laughing at me right now. But, I'm trying to figure out where I want to go next. Because, like, I have this part that's black. I need to do that to finish this 10 by 10 square. And then I have this area that's also black that I need to finish that 10 by 10 square. And then the problem is it goes into another 10 by 10 square. But I mean, that's what the whole parking thing is for. There is about to be a lot of black up in here. A lot of black. Muy interesante. I promise I'm gonna start sewing here in a minute. Let's just go with the red, since I already have it on here. So I had parked my thread one row further down than I wanted it. So I did that row and then went back up. 1, 2, 3. Hold on, I'm counting. Okay. No, I don't have to count no more. Anymore. Okay. So one of the things I love about this pattern is there are huge blocks of just solid color. So there are often like 100 stitch areas where you stitch in one color, or in this case I think it's a 50 stitch area. And so what I'll do is I go across 10 and then I don't have to think about it anymore. So however, I also have gotten into this groove where I just start doing stitching straight across, and have found that I have stitched in an area where I was not supposed to be stitching because that's not the color that goes there. But I figured it out. So I'm trying to think of like other things to discuss with y'all. I don't know. I feel like my update's kind of done. Nights are interesting. Um, it's weird trying to stay on a night schedule even when you're off because you tend to want to do things during the day, and when the sun goes down, your body really does kind of like, hey, you're supposed to be sleeping. Like right now, I know the sun is down, and thinking about it actually makes me on. Um, so that's one of the weird things. I did sleep like all day. Um, and I slept most of last night too. Going from working, so I don't know how many of the people watching this have ever been servers before, but restaurants don't want full time employees because they have to offer health insurance to full time employees. So overtime is like anything over 36 hours. As a matter of fact, one restaurant I worked at, the moment you hit 32, you had to start talking to managers about whether or not you needed to give up shifts. And so, I spent a good deal of time trying not to hit that 40-hour mark at restaurants, and now I'm working in a building where they're like, no, we kind of want you to work 40 hours at least. So, here, work 40 hours. Um, and not only that, but I'm working 40 hours in 4 days. Most people get 40 hours in a typical work week, which is 5 days. So they're working 8-hour days. I'm working 10-hour days. And honestly, I will probably, once I start making my own schedule, work 12-hour days. Because for me, I feel 3 on, 4 off. And honestly, if they approve the overtime, I would work a fourth 12-hour shift and do 4 on, 3 off. Just because I like the way that works. However, a lot of the people who work 12 hours work two 12-hour shifts and a 16-hour shift. That 16-hour shift is a hard nope for me. Um, Either let me work a fourth 12-hour shift or let me keep my 36 hours. So, I don't know, because I kind of want the 40 hours, but it's just, I would prefer to work a 12-hour shift. And the reason being is a 12-hour shift is what our nurses work. So I would get there the same time the nurses do and leave the same time the nurses do. And for me, that just makes it easy because you're working with and supporting a team. So for those of you who don't know what I do, I'm a PCT, patient care technician, also known as a CNA. It's known as other things in other places. And so I am support staff for the nurses. I go in and do like the petty stuff. I change patients if they need to be changed. If a patient needs to be turned every 2 hours, I'm the person who turns them to make sure that they don't get pressure ulcers. I take blood pressures. I can and have done blood sugars where I test blood glucose levels for patients before they eat. I help change beds. I help give showers. Like, basic daily needs is what I help with. And I'm on a cardiac unit. So, for those of you who don't know what that means, I work with patients who have had a heart surgery of some sort. Um, we do get like complete open heart surgery patients. However, we also do get patients who get stents put in, and those are typically put in and now I'm trying to remember the term. We call them cath lab patients because they have it inserted with a camera and small tools. So there aren't like really big incisions. They typically go in either through the arm or through the groin, and they follow the vein up to the area where it's clogged, and then they put like a small, I don't actually know what it looks like, but a small device that helps open up the blood vessels that helps blood flow. And so we work with those patients as they recover. And we make sure that they don't die. Because, I mean, things can go wrong. There can be difficulties. So, currently I haven't seen anything like major wrong happen. Knock on wood. Our patients are pretty interesting people. Almost all of them are men, and like I'm not even exaggerating that point. Like literally, almost every single one of them are men. Actually, as of Monday, they were all men. Every single one of them. So it's interesting. I really can't. There are some other interesting aspects to my job that I really just can't talk about. Either because I feel like it's a risk to my security, or it's just something I don't believe in and talking about. I also have to be careful because talking about patients can actually get you fired. As quite a few doctors now know, patients' rights are a thing, and so I don't want to get into any HIPAA violations. So, I actually had quite a few people asking me, like my friends, like, so have you filmed it recently? And it's like really surprising to me because I know some of them, I know one of them watches, Aaron Henahan. Hi, Aaron. Watches quite regularly. However, my other friends don't cross stitch, so they don't watch regularly. I think that's enough. I really don't feel like re-threading that needle to thread it through again. But they'll ask me about it. My aunt, who doesn't watch my floss tubes, asked me about when I'm going to record. Of course, she knows about recording because she's been a part of the whole thing. So, yeah, that's that. Interesting. Okay, so time to mark all But okay. So y'all get to see my bright orange shirt again. So I did that one, and then I came up and did these. And I did all but the last row. Normally, when I cross stitch, I'm either watching FlossTube or listening to a podcast called Critical Role, which is a whole bunch of people who get, well, it's voice actors that get together and play Dungeons and Dragons. And yes, I am a loser who would love to play Dungeons and Dragons. And as a matter of fact, I plan on finding a group here soon. So, but for right now, I'm trying to figure out this whole schedule thing. I actually don't know if there's a day that, because typically you play either weekly or monthly. Most people play weekly, and typically you join a group and it's, hey, we play every Thursday of every week of, every month. Whatever, unless, something comes up and the group can't meet. So, for me, it's just weird because my schedule kind of rotates. Well, this schedule wasn't made for me. But once I start making my own schedule, I will be able to make sure that, I have a particular day off every week. So, it shouldn't be impossible. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it quits on the Stitch With Me. I think I've gotten quite a bit done while recording. I have a lot more to do, of course, but whatever. It's been about an hour. So if you're not satisfied with this, then come meet me sometime next week for another Stitch With Me. Bye! So, thank you for watching my first Stitch With Me. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you didn't like it because of the angle or anything else, please give constructive, helpful criticism. Don't be rude. And let me know what I could do better. Right now, I think this is probably going to be my setup for the Stitch With Me. No promises. There are some, devices that could make it easier, but I don't know that I'm going to spend money on those just yet unless I know, this is going to be something that is something y'all would like. They will probably be filmed late at night just due to the fact that I am now a night employee, so my days off are really nights off. So, anyway, let me know. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, leave helpful comments. Thanks. Keep stitching, y'all.